Good morning. Like to welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Northern Nevada. I'm Bob Alto, and I go by the pronouns he, him, his. And what a lovely, beautiful day to be together. We'd like to do our chalice lighting, and Gaia will light the chalice as I say the words from Unitarian Universalist poet and prophet Kenneth Leo Patton. Let us worship with our eyes and ears and fingertips. Let us love the world through heart and mind and body. We feed our eyes upon the mystery and revelation in the faces of our brothers and sisters. As life flows into a great common life, if we only will open our eyes to our companions, let us worship, not in bowing down, not with closed eyes and stopped ears. Let us worship with the opening of all the windows of our beings. May I repeat that? The windows of our beings, with full outstretching for our spirits. Life comes with singing and laughing, with tears and confining, with a rising wave too great to be held in the mind and the heart and body of those who have fallen in love with life. Let us worship and let us learn to love. We'd like to celebrate the addition of two wonderful guests who are singing in the choir today. And that's Amanda O'Toole. Would you kind of raise your hand? And Lorna McLean. They're students at the Institute for Young Dramatic Voices at UNR this summer, and so we're delighted to have them with us today. As I mentioned, my name is Bob Alto. I'm your worship associate. I welcome you here in the fullness of you, the parts of you and the anxious or unsure parts of you, all are welcome here. It is written that hope is the ability to hear the music of the future, and faith is the courage to dance to it today. There is joy in having you here, and whether you're an old-timer or a young-timer, and believe you me, there are some people today who are new to our community. Make sure you find them and greet them and let them know that they are welcome. Again, regardless of differences in racial identity, ethnic background, age, economic circumstances, sexual orientation, or gender identity, UUFNN is a community of faith, love, justice, and joy. We also would like to recognize and acknowledge the traditional homelands of the Washoe, Northern Paiute, Western Shoshone, and Southern Paiute people of the Great Basin. They continue to be stewards of the land, and we, like them, are stewards to the land also. We appreciate the opportunity to live, to learn, to support these indigenous homelands. We'd like to remind you can sign up for our newsletter if you're new. Fill out the sheet in front of you, I think, in the chairs. If you want to get further information, or you can talk to a greeter, there were several as you came in, or you can go online. Those on Zoom will remain muted, but comments can be made in the chat box. Following the service, now listen to this alliteration, okay? Coffee, cookies, and conversation. Ooh, I can hardly wait. Now, we are going to have greeting time. And again, just be mindful of social boundaries, but it's a time to hug, fist bump, shake hands, to welcome each other. Please bring any sorrows or joys that you would like shared with the congregation. And there are sheets in the back, and you can give it to me or to Gaia during this time. And then we can use and announce those things in our meditation time. So again, until you hear the singing bowl, it's time to greet and meet and find those people who are here for the first time. Go.
Oh, you're good.
Okay. Of people we'd like to recognize as well, we have Sean Griffin, who is Nevada Poet Laureate with us today. And would you please stand, Sean? Woo! And coming up, by the way, Nevada, we have a poetry evening on Thursday, correct? And it's in your program, all the details, so I won't make that announcement later, or try not to. Okay, enjoy.
Hello, my name is Samantha, and I'm the music director here at UUFNN, and we are going to learn a new hymn together. So the choir behind me will sing it together beforehand, and then we will split into two smaller choirs, and it will be around, which means the music will be displaced a little. And so we will do our best to sing it all together. So first, we are going to sing it together just as the choir, and the lyrics will be up on the screen if you want to sing along, and then we'll go from there. So that will be the song that we will sing together. One choir will come over here and they will start singing, and then very shortly after, the choir over here will start singing the same thing at the different time. And so try to follow the choir that is in front of you, and if you can't, that's okay, and you can dance along or sing with the other choir. And please rise in body or spirit while you sing with us.
This morning, all of the hymns and all of the readings are the words of Kenneth Leo Patton, and you'll learn about him very shortly. Unitarianism has sometimes been defined as one God at most, while William Ellery Channing, known as the father of Unitarianism, labeled it Unitarian Christianity in his famous sermon of 1825. Not many of us would say today that we are a Christian religion, but of course, We find Christians as well as Buddhists and Jews and pagans and you name it among our congregants. Yes, a pagan is waving in the background there. And in the 20th century, humanism was making a strong presence in Unitarian theology. And I'm talking Unitarian at this point prior to the merger. Religion was acknowledged as being a constant in its quest for abiding values and being an inseparable feature of human life. But, and this is quoting the Humanist Manifesto of 1933, today, man's larger understanding of the universe, his scientific achievements, and deeper appreciation of brotherhood have created a situation which requires a new statement of the means and purpose of religion. Humanism claimed, quote, "Nothing human is alien to the religious. It includes labor, art, science, philosophy, love, friendship, recreation." Humanism celebrated American accomplishments of humanism celebrated human accomplishments throughout history and across all cultures, as we sang in our opening hymn, "All arts, all ages, and all songs." Because all people everywhere should be able to have a fulfilling life in the here and now, humanism called for a radical change from the acquisitive and profit-motivated social norms. The manifesto proclaimed, "A socialized and cooperative economic order must be established to the end that equitable distribution of the means of life be possible. Humanists demand a shared life in a shared world." The offspring of stardust and evolution. Let's take a moment to plant our feet firmly on our Mother Earth, to relax into her arms, and breathe in the air that has circulated around her for eons. As we breathe in the blessings of the earth, may we breathe out love. Today we hold in our heart Xiomara Rodriguez, who lost 2 cousins this past weekend to death. And the balance with that and sorrow. We have to find it within our own lives. It's a beautiful morning. I'm grateful to see all of you here. That's a joy for me. We'll let the choir take us in to the end of this meditation. If there was a geographic center of humanism, it was Chicago. Many of the signers of the manifesto were from Chicago, and many were also Unitarian, with a few Universalists there also. A few years after signing the manifesto, a young Disciples of Christ minister, Kenneth Leo Patton, who as of yet had had no divinity school experience, enrolled at the University of Chicago to earn his Bachelor of Divinity. He had a growing family to support, and he needed to be eligible for more lucrative pulpits. What Patton found in the University of Chicago was 180 degrees away from the evangelical Protestantism he had been raised with. Under the influence of A. Eustace Hayden and other humanists, Patton embraced a religion that centered on and celebrated people. And over the decades of the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, he became the prophet and poet of humanism, a religion declared that there was one life, one beauty on the earth. This included all races. While in seminary in the late 1940s, Patton presented himself as a Negro, the term used then, or he would join with other Black people to try to get service in restaurants and hotels, or to rent an apartment in certain neighborhoods. He was, of course, unsuccessful. But then he visited an integrated housing project and saw how people of all colors could live together with respect and cooperation. And he wrote of his experiences in the Unitarian magazine of the day, the Christian Register. This was at the very nascent time of the civil rights movement. And brotherhood was a watchword of humanism. As he began to make a name for himself, both in his activism and in his reputation for writing beautiful prayers and poems, Patton was encouraged to seek the pulpit of the First Unitarian Society of Madison, Wisconsin. There he was successful in engaging the architect Frank Lloyd Wright, incidentally a Unitarian, in designing a new meeting house for the congregation, which was completed in 1951.
Would you make a mark of the face of the world? Beauty is your only implement. Would you make yesterday worth remembering? Only songs will equip time with immortality. Leave your journeying to build temples and adorn them with the intimations of longer journeys you cannot take and images of countries you may never enter. In far-off times, others will put their carvings besides yours, and like candles when long ago yours burned away. In their celebrations, there will be a lingering of your questions and solicitations. The rafters and pillars will remember your dreams, and your children will discover the beauty of your ancient hands.
Even before the historic meeting house was finished, Patton had moved on to build another monument. The Universalist Convention of Massachusetts, long on endowment but short on members, called upon Patton to revitalize the movement. The original Universalist heresy, the idea that a loving Father God would never condemn his children to hell, it had been adopted by Main Street Protestantism, and Universalism now needed a different theme to distinguish itself. The Reverend Clinton Scott Lee, a Universalist who had signed the Humanist Manifesto, invited Patton to take over. There at the Charles Street Meeting House in Boston for about 15 years in the 1950s and the early 60s, Patton and his small congregation gave a new meaning to universalism. A different kind of salvation was promised, one that came not from the benevolence of a deity, but from the creation of a religion for one world, a religion centered on the majesty of all humanity and humanity's greatest accomplishments, the arts and sciences. Patton had no illusion about his goal being achieved during his lifetime, but the creation of the United Nations and the humanist faith in the positive evolution of society gave him hope that his experiment would eventually bear fruit. Note that Patton was not looking for one religion, one orthodoxy arrived at by consensus or fiat. Instead, he emphasized the universal impulse toward religion, humanity's search through the changing ages for the values that may make our common earthly life glad and beautiful and good. This, he thought, was the key to bringing humanity into one community of respect, appreciation, cooperation, and love. The years at the Charles Street Meeting House were Patton's most prophetic and poetic. He recast well-known liturgical music with humanist lyrics, singing the praise of the cosmos and of humanity. Ein feste Burg, a mighty fortress is our God, became We Are the Earth, upright and proud. The glorious chorus from Haydn's creation, the heavens are telling the glories of God, now proclaimed, we journey with a multitude, the bright inhabitants of space of every form and magnitude, the proud entourage of our race. And the comforting Jesu, joy of man's desiring, was superseded by the comfort offered not by a resurrected Savior, but by our first and final home, our mother, the earth. And you'll hear all these songs a bit later. After the merger of the Unitarians and the Universalists into one faith in 1961, Patton, who had now served in a congregation in each half of U and U, was asked to help to put together a hymnal for the new group. The result was Hymns for the Celebration of Life, referred to as the Blue Hymnal, a book of songs and readings which reflected Patton's naturalistic humanism. This was our UU hymnal until it was replaced by our current gray hymnal, which has been amended by the more inclusive teal hymnal, which is now being superseded by a new online hymnal. In 1964, Ken Patton was invited to fill the pulpit of the Unitarian Society of Ridgewood, New Jersey, and it was here I met him in 1971. If we have a stereotypical image of the humanist as a cantankerous old curmudgeon, Ken filled the bill. A difficult man, he had just seen the end of his second marriage. His wife had had the moving van back up in the parsonage driveway, and while Ken was out of the house, she left with their furniture and their 2 small sons. Adding injury to the insult, his mother had just died. Like most of Ken's parishioners, I found him distant. Even as the religious educator in that society for 12 years, as he was the lead minister, I never had any sort of relationship with him, not even many interactions. But while I'll never refer to him as my mentor, he did teach me much, and his teachings transformed me. I grew up, as some of you know, just miles from the mythical Lake Wobegon, and while I wasn't Lutheran, humility was high on my list of character traits. But the Methodist Confession of Faith that I had to recite every Sunday, where I had to be telling God I was not even worthy to be scooping up the crumbs from under his table, it grated on me, and I simply had to leave. Like the Universalists of old, who were looking not for hell, but for hope, I was looking for a religion that told me I was okay, not perfect, but someone willing to strive towards perfection. Okay, I am Minnesota. I was striving at being pretty good. And I was now in the midst of a religious congregation that rose to sing, "We are the earth upright and proud." I couldn't wait to get there each week. Not only that, but a gaping hole in my life had been filled. When I had experienced the absence of a personal God, I had wondered, well, now what do I do? How can I worship? What can I worship? And now I knew. Let us worship with our eyes and ears and fingertips. Let us love the world through heart and mind and body. All of the world, all of its creatures were objects worthy of worship. Of course, it is the job of religion to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. Often on Sundays, Ken railed against the congregation of Manhattan executives that supported his writing. War, consumerism, racism were just some of his targets. Ken's poetry, so uplifting and freeing, was tempered by his prophecy, which called us to task.
We have slowly made ourselves into engineers. We tamed wild plants, built houses against the cold, raised cities, and backed up rivers into lakes to water the deserts. We domesticated the atom, bored deeper than worms into the earth. What is beyond our powers? We have not tamed ourselves. Chaos rules in our persons and societies, and war ravages all our creations. We have not engineered ourselves. We have not dammed beyond our foreheads the water of wisdom to make lush the deserts of our commonwealths. We must create a civilization that does not slay itself. We must tame the wolves of greed. We must order the disorder of the world. We must put wisdom to work on ourselves to be engineers of society and artists of life.
Please rise, embody your spirit, and join us in singing number 303 from our great hymnal, We Are the Earth, Upright and Proud.
As an artist of life, Ken was no role model. As with many other creative geniuses, his actions fell far short of his words. Perhaps most tragically, Ken became estranged from the UUA, the Association of the Faith Movement he had truly helped to transform, while he begrudgingly went to the 1986 General Assembly, where he was given the Distinguished Service Award there is a palpable chill on the platform. Already, newcomers to Unitarian Universalism had no idea who this recipient was. Just 1 year earlier, the General Assembly had taken its final vote adopting the 7 principles, the statement for that point in time which set forth the values that we aspire to and affirm. It also adopted by that vote the sources which were informing the principles, the breadth of these sources, including mysteries of life, words and deeds of prophetic women and men, wisdom from all the world's religions, and the results of science, had been championed by Ken's humanistic prophecy. He had truly helped to transform Unitarian Universalism. Ken's poetry became his obsession as he continued to put forth his theology, which he labeled naturalistic humanism. With a typewriter and a small copier, Ken self-published reams of words, hoping to bring the world to the vision he maintained in spite of life's disappointments. But he was never going to be a team player. He stayed stuck where he was, and the world, just as he said it would, evolved. Yet those who chide Unitarian Universalism for providing no answers could still learn from Ken.
There are no answers to the whys we put to the universe. There are many hows, but no whys. Things simply are. There is no answer behind a veil. There is no veil. Nature is not mysterious. We are mystificationists. The wise accept life with an idiotic faith in its goodness, as the child accepts the world. We are, the world is self-evident, always untried, inexhaustible. This is the everlasting mood of life. The universe is majestic, unapologizing, self-accepting through wide and thoughtless changes. We, its creatures, need not whine nor justify our existence. To justify life is to insult its native dignity. We are kindred of repetitious stars. We are niggardly with life. We are beggars unworthy of our wealth. We crust on days of feasting for fear we will have empty bellies tomorrow. Day follows day. Breath follows breath. With imporings of sound and touch and light and color, with avenues of creation before us. How can our lives be less than splendid and torrential? If we quit the earth without being raked and astounded, we have not justified our mother's labor, nor the leap of our father's sperm. The universe is our body. Of what can we be afraid?
This is not at all the talk that I originally started to prepare, given where we are, hurtling into collapse. I was going to talk about the climate crisis and how artificial intelligence endangers all of humanity, but Lloyd said to me, "Oh, you have to give them something hopeful to hang on to." So I will. A bit more about the trajectory of humanism. The wildly optimistic manifesto of 1933 was followed by a somewhat more modest one in 1972. What had gone wrong in the intervening decades? Well, there'd been the devastating World War, the unspeakable Holocaust. Science had taken us to where we could obliterate ourselves in moments. With the civil rights movement, we were faced by how unequal our society was. And we had just celebrated our first Earth Day as we realized that maybe we were loving our mother to death. We started recycling as if that would solve the problem. 40 years ago, as my New Jersey congregation sang the songs we're singing today, it seemed that raising our voices in these jubilant melodies and words would change the world. And I recall at least once we wrote messages of peace and love and attached them to helium-filled balloons and released them into the air. We know at least one balloon made it as far as the Boston area. It even got written up in our local paper. We have no idea how many waterfall were killed by those balloons. We were so carefree and so careless. The current Humanist Manifesto was published in 2003 by the American Humanist Association. It is a modest document, and I encourage you to look it up. There are lots of words and phrases that seem familiar to us Unitarian Universalists. And 23 years ago, even, things did not look to be so close to the edge. The ice caps were more solid. Most people didn't know or care what AI was, although, of course, we were already living with it. In 2003, Forbes listed 476 billionaires in the world. This year, we have 3,428 billionaires listed in Forbes. And of course, Elon in a class by himself. I recently learned the word billionairism, which means having so much money that moral strictures don't apply to you. The so-called Christian right has now taken to labeling everyone not them non-human. Yep, if you're not white, if you're not of Western European stock, if you're not cisgender, and you don't think the 2020 election was stolen, you are not a human being. This was an article in last week's New York Times Magazine. Is there any hope for humanism? Well, maybe. Half a century after the prophetic words of Kenneth Leo Patton, a Chicago-trained theologian, we have Pope Leo XIV, also from Chicago. His first encyclica is entitled Magnifica Humanitas, magnificent humans. It's a celebration of humanity and a prayer for the future. At this point, I've read so much about Leo, I'm not really sure what was in the encyclica and what's been elsewhere. I do know he talks about the dangers of AI, and one of the things he says is that we cannot have AI doing warfare for us. He says killing people is a moral decision. It cannot be done by AI. Of course, Leo's version of humanism is Christian humanism. Okay. It starts with the premise that everything is God's creation instead of what Patton said, it just is. But it also means that people are to emulate Christ in his reaching out to the poor and the dispossessed. Humanism, for Catholics as well as agnostics, means everyone should be given the potential of reaching their full Everyone should be given the possibility of reaching their full potential. That means, as the first Humanist Manifesto proclaimed, humanists demand a shared life in a shared world. Now, there are some newly minted Catholics in Washington, D.C., who think that they know as much or even more, or they have as much or even more theological authority than the Pope. So I'm grateful that Leo XIV speaks with an American voice. I like Leo, and I'm rooting for him. It's good to have him on the humanist team.
Now is the time that we have the opportunity to share our bounty with each other. It also means keeping the air conditioning on, keeping the office and staff humming, and supporting programs here and elsewhere. It is through your generosity and dedication that we here at UUFNN are self-sufficient. By each of us stepping forward and giving what we can, we provide support for all that we do for each other and others in the community. I like the quote, "We wish for the abundance of this world to be shared." Now the screen gives you contact information. Our collection today includes sharing the plate with a nonprofit, which happens to be Dress for Success Reno. And again, oh, sorry. Thank you. It's changed. Yay. All right. You see what it is, so give generously. Okay, now let the offering begin. So please join Nancy and myself in blessing these offerings to the work of this fellowship, which is helping more people grow in love, faith, justice, and joy. We dedicate ourselves, and these are offerings. After that wonderful presentation by Gaia about humanism, I'm glad that we can make mistakes in a humanistic way and be corrected by such a noble and wonderful group of people. So now we're going to do announcements, and just beware, the ants have come. The ants are here. The ants need to be taken care of. So they have made themselves at home in the kitchens, bathrooms, and other spaces in both of our buildings. If you see open containers of food, including sugars, etc., if I were an ant, I'd hit for the sugar. Okay, please help by putting things away in closed containers and cleaning up dishes and messes. We can all support moving our ants back outdoors. We'd like to also recognize that the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, was signed into law 36 years ago on July 26, 1990. Yay, Stephanie, yay, all of us, indeed. Okay. We want to mention again the Nevada Poetry Workshop this coming Thursday, July 23rd at 5:30 in the Great Room. Leading Nevada poets will be reading their work as an Art Town event called Nevada Poetry. Now, the reason why it's so important is that we have these great figures that inspire us by their poetry. Sean Griffith, Nevada's poetry, a poet laureate that we've introduced earlier, and Keniston, professor of English at UNR, Kathy Nelson, winner of the James Dickey Prize, and Linda Wilson, professor of English at Truckee Community College. So again, a worthwhile and wonderful event for everybody to attend. That's it.
Please rise, embody your spirit, and join us in singing our closing hymn. It's the same one that we did before as a round, but we're just going to sing it together. And it is Ours Be the Poems of All Tongues.
Please remain standing, and if you want to be joining hands with your neighbors, if you're uncomfortable, you're welcome to put your hands over your heart, joining our community as we read these words and extinguish our chalice. Planet Earth, for us a dwelling, cool in wind and warm in light. In its praise, our song is swelling, grateful for this day and night. We, the citizens of heaven, riding earth as it is driven down the spangled course of space, know the glory of this place. Our worship is over. May our service begin.